Jamie, his first run, autumn vibes a few weeks ago. Obviously the start proved ultimately costly.
Yeah, his barrier manners still leave a little bit to be desired, but something that we're working on with him, and I think as he has a few more starts and gets a bit more confidence and adjusts to life here in Hong Kong, it's not going to be a long-term problem, but at the moment it's just something we've got to work through with him, and he's been doing plenty of barrier schooling, and he's been back to the trials, and he's just got a few little quirks in there, but we're doing our best to straighten them out.
Brow band, what's sort of the theory behind that for people that don't really understand what a brow band can achieve?
Well, it's basically just to stop them from sort of looking up and ultimately trying to stop them rearing. Whether it works or not, I'm not entirely sure, but it's worth trying with him. So I thought he was pretty good at the trials, and importantly, Huey got a bit of a feel from at the trials and just learned his little sort of idiosyncrasies that he's got. But if he gets the start right, he can be a player. Obviously, the barrier draw's not ideal, but we'll just have to see how things look and ultimately leave it up to Huey.
And is that basically the case with barrier number 10, that with sort of his barrier manners, that you've just got to play it by chance and see what happens from the get start?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, C+3, you'd love to be rolling forward a little bit, but if he jumps a bit slow, he's going to be back. So it's just what happens at the start will determine what sort of position he's in. But I think he can rev up a little bit mid-race, so you wouldn't like to see him jump slow and rush forward. So I think probably from an educational perspective, he's probably better to get back a little bit and hit the line strong.
He looks like he's got plenty of ability. It's just a matter of putting it all together. Is that fair?
Yeah, he's a really nice, kind, quiet horse around the stable. He's a pleasure to have around. He's very easy to ride in the mornings. He's just got this little thing in his head about the barriers. So, as I say, I don't think it's going to be a long-term problem, but it's just something we've got to work through with him. And as you said, he's a horse that's got plenty of talent, and he's got a good pedigree behind him, and he's a nice type. So I think he's got a bright future here in Hong Kong once he irons out a few of those little things that he's got going on.
Harry Flash Currenty was certainly unlucky at his debut, and then you had the opportunity to jump aboard last time out from a wide draw. Talk us through the run.
Yeah, I was the fortunate benefactor in that, getting on him after that first race, which was, very promising. He was just, locked up and nowhere to go. But his last run, he was obviously outpaced from the get-go and was struggling just to keep on the tails of them. But he did his best work late and finished really strong.
He looked reasonably professional at his second start. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, he is professional. I mean, even riding him in track work, he feels like a horse that's, quite forward-going, but he's still got plenty to learn, which is promising going forward. And yeah, like I say, he was just doing his best work late, so I imagine him to do much the same.
He's drawn 9 of 12, so is it a similar sort of setup this weekend in terms of where he ends up probably?
Yeah, I think draw's not been overly kind to us, but I think he was always probably going to get back in a race like this, and yeah, I think it'll be much the same. He'll probably be a little outpaced early and doing his best work late. You
galloped him earlier in the week. Are you happy with how he's trained on since?
Yeah, really happy. We did a piece of work with another horse, and he felt really good, and he was sort of happy to eyeball it and go past. So really happy with how he's going.
Mark looks outstanding back on the dirt after a first-up run at Sha Tin a few weeks ago. It was a pretty strong effort with what he produced at the end.
Yeah, look, it wasn't the ideal introduction for him. He'd already had gate 12 and then he settled out the back, but when he started to come around them, he got run off the track and speared off on the corner, but he went to the line really solidly. So it was a good effort. He's had a trial since and trialled really nicely.
He's trained on well since that last start run then?
Yeah, really happy with him. He's come up with a lot better barriers in gate 6. He's had that experience now, so I expect he'll run well.
Can you maybe be a bit more positive with him this time around with a better gate and hopefully a drier track this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Look, he showed he jumped quickly in his trial and we wanted to see him begin. And so from gate 6, look, he might be midfield, but I wouldn't think he'd be back last where he settled at his first start.
Quick word on My Wish out of the Classic Cup, steaming ahead to the Derby. How's he come through that and what was your overall take on the run?
Yeah, look, he's come through it really well. As the season's progressed, he's really toughened up and he's taking the racing well. Look, his effort was great. It was a race that was run at a really strong tempo. So if we had any doubts at the 1800, it was certainly going to be tested then. And look, Luke gave him a great ride in it, and look, he was probably exposed from the 400 after having an easy run, and Ruby Lot probably only got exposed at the 250, so he probably just had an easier run and came from the back of the field off a strong pace. And look, going towards the Derby, they probably looked the main two hopes. So yeah, can't fault him going forward.
James, Gracious Express, your first ride here for Ricky. You aboard this horse. He's got a good draw this week, and barrier number 3 off the video. How have you seen his last few runs?
Yeah, his last few runs have been very well. It hasn't been far away. Like you said, we've got the good barrier, and the favourite's probably going to have to get back a little bit from that tricky gate, but looks a very nice horse. But yeah, look, hopefully we can race up on speed. Horse that likes to race on speed, and hopefully we give a good showing.
He was a bit keen last start. Cheek pieces were on in the trial recently. How did you assess the trial you were aboard?
The trial, he relaxed pretty good. They went along at a quick tempo though. Yeah, so I thought the trial was nice, and yeah, if we can get into a good rhythm, I think we'll run well.
With the rail out this week and the draw and being up on the pace, that looks to be beneficial too, doesn't it?
Yeah, looking from what I've seen of the first time here riding with the rail out. But yeah, I think barriers help, and hopefully probably being up on speed will help too. But hopefully everything works out in this horse's favour, and I think we'll be a good chance.
Dave Lightyear's Charm, strong winner last time out. He'd been knocking on the door big time. It was good to see him bash the door through last time.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, it worked out quite nicely from the wide draw. Zach was able to sort of get in midfield, and they went a nice tempo and sort of field spread out, and you know, he was able to stretch well once he got clear room.
Been back to the trials. What happened at the start in the barrier trial?
Yeah, he just lost his hind legs on the dirt. He just slipped. You know, went to jump and lost his hind legs. So yeah, honestly, not too concerned. He trialled nicely thereafter. He wasn't, you know, asked him to stretch without overdoing it, and he's galloped well since.
With the way he produced that turn of foot in the straight last time out, up to a mile this weekend, are you confident the way he found the line that he'll see a good strong mile?
I think so, but it is the, you know, it's the query, isn't it? And obviously he's going to improve again with the extra £10, but he's a big, scopy horse and he relaxes really well, so I think he'll give himself every chance to get it.
Hypothetically, if he was to win this weekend and he gets up to an 80+ rating, obviously he still holds that entry for the Derby. Is that something Connections and you definitely have designs on pressing forward if you can get into the field? Yeah, look, it's been the plan, and this sort of routine has been the plan for a while as well. So yeah, absolutely. If he was able to do that, then we'd like to go for the race.